What's up, Drop Pod listeners? You can check out new episodes of the Drop Podcast every Tuesday and Thursday, wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find all of our content on YouTube at the Drop Golf Podcast and on our socials. That's Instagram and Twitter at the Drop_pod. No matter how you consume us, like, subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff. Follow and listen along.
Today's episode is brought to you by All County Exteriors, your go-to for anything exterior home remodeling. Discover the excellence of All County Exteriors, a third-generation leader in premier exterior home remodeling, proudly celebrating over 40 years of success. While most remodeling companies last just 5 years, All County Exteriors has withstood the test of time, consistently delivering top-quality roofing, siding, windows, and doors. Their expertise extends from small repairs to large additions, serving homeowners and builders alike. More than just a construction company, All County Exteriors is deeply committed to community service, proudly supporting organizations such as the Make-A-Wish Foundation, the American Cancer Society, Roofs for Troops, and Parents of Autistic Children. If you have planned to do any exterior remodeling, call now for an instant 20% off savings on your next project. This is a limited time offer. Call now for a free, no obligation consultation. Just call 732 370 2780 or email them at info@allcountyonline.com. That's 732 370 2780 for All County Exteriors for all your remodeling needs. This is the Drop Podcast where we talk golfing. In the Garden State, I'm Mike Puro, and this is Ryan Coulott.
What's up, Drop Pod people? Welcome back to episode 120. Mike and I here. We're happy to have you. Let's roll through our schedule for the week. That has, yesterday, Mike, nothing planned, nothing came out. Magic Mike Mondays, we got nothing during the wintertime.
Hibernating
for this for the winter. Today, Tuesday, the 21st, episode 120 coming at you. Make sure you like, subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff wherever you're listening. If you're watching on YouTube, Mike, wave for the camera. We appreciate you watching over there. Again, please subscribe to our YouTube page. That's where all of our videos and all the content is living there. So make sure you're checking that out. Tomorrow, Wednesday, I still have some Hamilton Farm content coming out. I played the Hickory course, which I've kind of been going. I have two more. This week is hole 8. It's a par 3. Kind of goes without saying because it's the Hickory course. If you've been following along, 176 yards. It's a video you're going to want to see. You're going to want to see this. I'm not going to give you any other spoilers. It is not a hole in one, but you're going to want to see it. Thursday this week, we have Keith Stewart is our guest. He's the co-founder of Read the Line, golf betting content website. He goes around and it's amazing what he does, Mike. I was blown away by his ability to break down someone's golf game, and he even does it for me. Like if I was playing in a tournament, well, this course requires a good short game. Your short game is hot garbage, so you're not going to play well here. And then he goes through all these things and kind of his process on how he does it. I think over the last 3 years, he's picked 37 correct outright winners on the PGA Tour, if I remember that number correctly. I mean, that is impressive. Really, really good stuff. And he's quite a character, quite a personality. We had a lot of fun with him. Really good interview. I hope you guys stay tuned and enjoy it. And then Friday this week is Physical Fitness Friday, episode 7. Again, we're keeping that rolling. You find that on YouTube. That's why we ask you to go over the page, subscribe. You'll get the notification. Just go ahead and watch it. So that's over Living on YouTube there. But that is our weekly update for what we got coming out this week. Let's go right from there, Mike. You got anything for there?
No, I listen. I'm actually looking forward to seeing your Ryan verse. I'm,
Curious on
what
it
entails. Yeah, I haven't watched the video myself, so I'm kind of curious to see what it entails.
I try to keep it. I try to keep it mythical for you as well, not just the audience. Let's head to you, Mike. You got your fast facts for this week.
Yep. So here we go. Now, I do want to again. This is probably a repeatable comment statement sentence that we've said multiple times here, but you can still get merch. I've gotten a few DMs, a few texts. Is that stuff still available? Can I still get it? Absolutely. Hoodies, t-shirts, hats, all available in the store. Go check it out. Again, we've talked about it from the very get-go about this whole thing. Affordable prices, quick shipping, great stuff. I promise you, we wear the hoodies like it's underwear. It's on all the time. Go check it out. Ryan's got it on right now.
Wearing it right now.
You won't be disappointed with that stuff. Go check it out. Cheap, easy, affordable. You'll like that stuff. Next on my little hit list here. Listen, I think one of the things, especially in these frigid temperatures, you talk about indoor simulators. TGL is rocking and rolling, but there's this next up and coming, brand new setup, awesome spot. It's called the Swing Suite at our friends over there at Galloping Hill Golf Course. Now, we did one of these a few months ago at the 10th hole, which was the first municipally owned golf course to have a simulator. Well, this is now the second, and it's technically the first 18-hole municipally owned golf facility to have one. So there is a little difference here, but we are heading north on the Parkway to go record at the Swing Suite in a few weeks. It's opening up the end of the month. It's just another hot spot for golfers trying to get to play, that have the itch, that want to go experience something. Here's another opportunity, the Swing Suite at Galloping Hill Golf Course, which again, we'll be at in a few weeks to record at.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, Mike. I know that those guys are very supportive of us. We talked about it last week. They with our list, the Galloping Hill is my number one that I public track that I want to get to this year. I really am looking forward to meeting those guys, interacting with those guys, and that's going to be a fun day. And I'm glad that they got something that's really pretty cool, rocking and rolling there.
Next on the hit list here is congrats to the NJSGA. Now, I'm sure a lot of people saw this, but they rebranded. They're now New Jersey Golf. Um, the same people running the show, same tournaments that'll go on every year. They've just decided to rebrand everything they have. So congrats to them. I did reach out to Kevin Purcell and said congratulations on the rebranding. I think that's pretty neat. It's kind of cool. Love the logo. Kind of fits into things that we talk about all the time when you're talking golfing in the Garden State. So it's no longer the NJSGA. It is now New Jersey Golf.
Yeah, Mike, it's a really interesting concept that they have going, and I wonder if it's because when you look at NJSGA, does it give the feel or the vibe of this is the like this is just competition golf, as opposed to now rebranded New Jersey Golf is everything encompassing New Jersey Golf. Anything that's under that umbrella is New Jersey Golf, and I wonder if that's why. I don't know if Kevin answered or if we asked, but that would be an interesting thought as to why the rebranding happened. It does seem like it is more encompassing, I guess is the word that I like for it.
Yeah, I mean, it says on their website it's a brand evolution that invites the next generation of golfers to engage and explore with the game while celebrating its storied history. So I think, like a lot of things, I think you get to the point where let's get a little refresher.
Yeah.
Let's kind of hit the refresher button to see what's out there. And that's kind of the avenue they went down.
Yeah,
So
I think again, like when I think NJSGA, I don't think indoor simulators, right? I don't think short courses. I don't think I think bigger, more tournament, more higher end type golf. So now they've rebranded NJ Golf again, like falls under the umbrella of NJ anything golf in New Jersey. Indoor simulators, short course, all those things I just mentioned, I feel like would be encompassed in something that was called NJ Golf and not in NJSGA. So maybe that's why.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
congrats to them.
good for
The
them for
logos are
sure.
cool.
Yeah,
Yep, yep.
loved it.
Are you looking for the perfect place to tee it up this season? Or just looking for a great spot for casual comfort food or the most picturesque backdrop for the wedding of your dreams? Then you need to visit Galloping Hill Golf Course in Kenilworth, New Jersey. Conveniently located in Union County, right off exit 138 on the Garden State Parkway, Galloping Hill has 18 holes of championship level golf open all year round. They also offer a top 50 in the country learning center with 20 covered and heated stalls for the winter, in addition to a 9-hole course that is ranked in the top 10 of short courses in the entire country. Galloping Hill is more than just golf. The Hill Tavern Bar and Grill is a gastro pub with seasonal food and beer options updated regularly with amazing views of the golf course. And all this winter, kids eat for free, hosting over 150 golf outings and over 400 social events per year. Their catering team consistently wins awards each year from the Knot and Wedding Wire. Schedule a tour for your special event at the clubhouse at gallopinghill.com. It's all happening this year at Galloping Hill Golf Course. Next on my hit list is just kind of recapping the PGA Tour. The American Express obviously has ended. Chris Goddard, John Pack, both did miss the cut. I know some people were DMing me, asking me, like, why was the cut not after 36 holes? Instead, this week or last week, it was after 54 holes. That's because they play three different courses out there and they want to give each of the participants a chance to play all three. So it's kind of an equal playing ground before the final cut is made. So last week, it was after 54 holes. That is the only tournament on the PGA Tour that kind of follows that route. Um, Max obviously just doing Max like things. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. We're recording right now. They have not ended. He's T8 right now. Again, if he has done something crazy, you have probably already heard from us through some sort of post on Instagram. So, nonetheless, Max being Max.
Yeah. I mean, what a start to the year. It's January and he potentially gets a top 10 finish already. Like you talk about how he ended his season last year. We talked about what he was working on this winter when we had him on and now getting going and he's going to have a January top 10. Uh, it just this kid is a rocket ship and is doing like you said doing max things. He's got a brilliant future and it's right in front of us here.
Yep. And then this week they're at the Farmers, which is, your home away from home out there at Torrey Pines. All three of our New Jersey guys are in the field. 36 holes out there on Torrey Pines, both the north and the south before the cut is made. And just again, so our audience knows, this is a Wednesday, meaning it starts tomorrow through Saturday finish because of the NFL and the conference championships.
Yeah.
Smart move by the PGA Tour.
Mike, we were talking about that, before we hit record. That's got to be why, right? They don't want to mess around with that, and it is smart move. You want eyes on your product, and you want your people to be watching it the same way that they have the Phoenix Open. Kind of roll right into the Super Bowl, right? You go right from one to the other. So smart move on their part. You did mention my home away from home. I absolutely love Torrey Pines. It is a Mike. You talk about views. If you ever got to go out and play there, that would be your number one course because the views there do not get better. They just don't. You got the Pacific Ocean. You're on top of the cliffs. There's the trees, the foliage, the shrubbery, all is beautiful. The Torrey pine itself, like the tree that is a natural inhabitant to that area, is a very I think it's a very beautiful looking tree. Kind of looks a little bonsai-y. It's just a stunning course. And then the experience I had, I got to play it. I probably, teed off in the early afternoon and finished my round. I had something to eat after and had a drink, and then you can kind of wander if you want to. It's essentially in a big park. You got like there's just a little south of the South Course is like a hang gliding um, runoff. So you got like the hang gliders over the Pacific going. It's absolutely beautiful. But I just took my drink and went for a walk right down the first hole, through the second hole, and went like to the edge of the cliffs right at sunset, and just had a I'm in my flip flops post round. It was a magical experience getting to see, and one of my favorite pictures I've ever taken is from that day and from that time. It was just beautiful. I have such fond memories of that. I'll never forget that. It's a special experience, and if anyone gets the opportunity to, again, this is not a California podcast, but if you're in the San Diego area, San Diego's beautiful in its own right. La Jolla is a beautiful community. Just go play Torrey Pines. Absolutely amazing. I'm looking forward to getting back. I did not play the North Course. I only played the South Course, but it was a great time.
Well, I would love to see one of our 3 guys share the same experience
Yeah.
that you are with a W this week. So nonetheless, listen, sounds like a great time. I know optics and aesthetics mean a lot to me, so I can only imagine. My problem, I think, is if I went to San Diego, played Torrey Pines, I don't know if you'd get me back home.
I don't think so. I would worry about that. We would not see you ever again.
For some people, that would be a good thing.
I hope they fare better. It's a tough track. It is. There are some brutally long holes, especially from they have a tee box, Mike. It's the black tee box. You need permission pre-round to play it, and that's the tees that they play from for things like the Farmers when they had the Open there. That's when they play, and that tops out at 7,800 yards. 7,800 yards, which is 800 yards longer than the next tee box in front of it. It's just mind blowing to me how far it is. You're talking an extra 45, 50 yards each hole. I mean, it's absolutely crazy.
Well, I'll say this. They need to do something because right now watching these guys play 20 unders, 30 unders, it's not the Corn Ferry Tour. No disrespect to those guys, and we'll get to those guys in a second. But the courses need to be a little harder because no offense, these guys going out there and making birdie barrages like it's playing mini golf. It gets to the point for someone like me who's a diehard, I just get annoyed. I get annoyed. I'm like, come on, bro. It's not that easy. Golf
Mhm.
is not that easy. I get it. One guy on the tour made a 13 this week. I get it. I saw all that. But come on,
Mike,
give me a challenge.
let me ask you. I see. I kind of go back and forth. There's some weeks where I like to see them just destroy the course to show exactly how good these guys are, and there's other times where I want to see carnage. And I think the majority of tournaments should be somewhere in the middle, right? Is it the length? Should we be playing at 8,000 yards, or do we need to make the courses harder as far as shrinking fairways, like putting a premium on hitting a fairway as opposed to just this bomb and gouge? These guys don't. When you hit it 330 and it puts a wedge in your hand, does it really matter how where you are? If you're in rough, deep rough, you know, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it close, and if you're in a tree and have to punch out, then these guys are getting up and down. So I don't necessarily know if it's the length that needs to be changed as opposed to putting some other obstacles in. I don't
Yeah,
know
I
what
mean,
your
I
thoughts are
to your
there.
to your I don't know the answer. And I don't know if it's length because you can't keep making things longer because it's just not realistic
Mhm.
in terms of space. Maybe pins need to be different. Maybe you do, to your point, narrow the fairways a little bit. But I'm not saying I'm not. I like you. It's like give me 12 to 15 under as the winner.
Yep, that's
I
true.
don't want to see bogeys on every hole. I don't want to see doubles on every hole. But I don't need to see 9 straight birdies and guys shooting 60. And meanwhile, they're like 15th place.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. So to your point, I think it's probably a combination. Narrow the fairways a little bit.
Make
Okay,
the rough
lengthen in the
thicker,
rough.
yeah.
Yep.
Just
Lengthen rough a
and it
little
doesn't
bit.
need to be US Open where it's
Make the pins
mid
tougher.
calf deep. Yeah, I don't know. There's got to be some things that they can do to tighten it up. But yeah, I like if you shot 3 or 4 under for 4 straight days, that's great golf. And
I know.
And some of
You're not
these
making
guys
the
you see,
cut now.
right? You're
You're not
yeah,
making the cut, you do that.
and that's where I think it should be. If it's par 72, if you're shooting 67, 68, even one of the day you shoot a 67 and a 69, that's kind of where to me that's where we should be. We shouldn't have guys that are 63, 64, 63, 65 for a weekend. That's like that's crazy. That's crazy talk.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and I'll just, before we kind of move on, but I'll give you an example. Like Sepp Straka is leading through the first 3 rounds here at the American Express. His first 3 rounds are 65, 64, 64. He's minus 23 entering the final round.
Yeah.
Now, I don't, again, we're recording before they finish, but nonetheless, he's 23 under and they haven't even teed off the final round.
Yeah.
So to me, like I do think there's something that has to be to bring these guys back a little bit because we do need to recognize they're pretty damn good.
They 100% are good, and I'm even for like my thing. If someone goes out like a 64 should be an anomaly. It should be a rarity. This guy shot two in one tournament, right? You should say 64, 65, 64, right? That should be he should be again in my world or what I'm thinking of it. It should be 68, 64, 69, 67, right? And whatever that equals, that's 12 to 15. That's you had a great week, right? If you're able to put a 64, but these guys that are putting multiple 63, 64, 65s in on a professional tour, there's got to be something a little bit tougher, I guess. I don't that I'm looking for. I don't know how to.
Yeah.
I don't know
Well,
necessarily how. Smarter people than me are going to have to figure that out, but just a feeling I have. And then, we ask them to, and then on the contrary, right, Mike, we ask them to go on birdie barrages until we get to the U.S. Open, and then the U.S. Open is trying to get them to play even. So so now you're not even like pre- preparing them for what's upcoming. So I don't know. There's got to be some middle ground there that we can live in.
well, hopefully it's Torrey Pines this week is the middle ground. But kind of
Yeah,
moving on from the PGA Tour, you got the Corn Ferry Tour. Now I told you last week it's a weird start down there in the Bahamas. It's Sunday to Wednesday. So last week, and even though this is kind of crazy because tomorrow ends the second tournament, but last week the Bahamas Golf Classic, James Nicholas, our recent guest, did miss the cut. Ryan McCormick, the prior week's guest, did finish T45. Both are playing. It's ongoing. Um, Obviously, we're recording before the tournament even begins. So James, Ryan are both out there. Hopefully they're making some noise.
yeah. It's all we can hope for. Again, they got to get off to a good start. James missing the cut. It's his first tournament on the Corn Ferry Tour. Maybe a little nervous. Maybe whatever the case might be. You can kind of give him a little break. I think Ryan's got to play some good golf. I think he needs to prove to himself after. He even said it. He was disappointed in last season on the PGA Tour. He's got to get going and not just make some cuts, but make a little bit of noise. And T45 is nice. We've made the cut. I think he needs to keep checking those boxes. But the golf he needs to play needs to be pretty good. I think just for his mental game, like for his own well-being, for lack of a better term. That's what I think he needs. I think he needs to see teen numbers and after his name.
I agree. And that wraps up Fast Facts.
All right, Mike, let's get into the main topic that we've been going with, and this is our last list that we have for this year. We made lists for 2024, top public, top private. We made a golf course that we had. Well, you made a 9. I added some holes, and then we've been doing the top courses we want to play. Top public was last week. We're doing top 10 private golf courses we are looking to play in 2025 this year. Now, let's again, because some people don't always listen. If we've played it recently, it's not going to be on the list. Okay. So That's one caveat. The other caveat I would say, Mike, and I'm sure I don't know if it's on your list because we haven't shared this yet. I didn't put Pine Valley on my list because I think it's just too obvious. Of course, I want to play Pine Valley. Everybody that owns or has touched a golf club in the world wants to play Pine Valley. So I think that that's an obvious one. So I kept that off my list. I just felt like it was too obvious of a one.
Yeah, I did. I mean, obviously, I had played there. I have had the privilege of playing there 2 years ago, so I just left it off because I got to experience it. So
Okay,
for me, it was like finding 10 spots that I have not played
not played. Okay,
anytime in the last, like, maybe 20 years.
okay, yeah. I didn't go 20 years. I went for more of a. It's been a few years. But I'll get to that as we go. So just a couple little caveats there that these are courses that we want to play. And the other thing that Mike and I talked about was these are courses we want to play in an order that it might not be the best course, but there's an allure to it. It's a more personal experience. And I think when you see the lists, at least when you see my list, that you'll kind of get more of that feeling. It's obviously you know, Pine Valley's number one. All right, we just took that one off. And then Somerset Hills is number two, and Baltusrol is three, and Ridgewood's four. Right, we have this list going. Right, obviously, I would like to play all of those. You would like to play all of those, but the tough part of this homework assignment, so to speak, was putting them in an order for us specifically. So Mike and I might have a particular golf course, but we might have it in a different order. I might have it at 9, he might have it at 2, and it's just personal preference. So this is kind of the the reasoning behind kind of giving you what we were talking about behind the scenes there. So let's get to it, Mike. You want to go full list first and then talk about them?
Yeah, I think it's best if we count it down from 10 all the way to 1, um, for our list.
Okay.
I went first last week. Did you wanna go first this week?
Sure. Sure. I was just
And then
looking.
after you go through your 10 through 1, we'll discuss yours,
Okay.
or do you want me to give mine right after that, and then we discuss them as a whole?
Um, let's do that. Let's do both of them. Let's go back to back, and
Okay.
then we'll be able to talk about them. Let me pull my list up here, and I'm going to give you my top 10, 14 courses here.
Not surprised.
All right, here we go. I'm going to start from 10. My number 10 course that I want to play in 2025 is Montclair Country Club. Number 9, Due Process. Number 8, Essex County Country Club. Number 7, Forsgate. I did go more specific on this one with the Banks course, but I'll say Forsgate. If it has multiples, I'm just clumping them all together. Number 6, Bayonne Country Club. Number 5, Mountain Ridge. Number 4, Somerset Hills. Number 3, the recently private Scotland Run. Number 2, Baltusrol. And number 1 on my list of courses I want to play in 2025, Atlantic City Country Club.
I got a lot to say, but let me just I wanna just now just rapidly go through my list because I got a lot to say.
Okay,
I got a lot to say.
I'm gonna type yours down while you go so I can look at it because I need that. So
Okay, so
go
here we
ahead.
go. Number 10, Due Process. Number 9, Hackensack Golf Club. Number 7, Morris County Golf Club. Number 6, Trump National Golf Club, the Bedminster, the old course. Did I count wrong?
No, yeah, you did.
I did.
Yep, I got Due
All right.
Process 10, Hackensack.
Hackensack 9, Morris County 8,
Yep,
Trump National 7,
yep,
Essex County Country Club 6, Mountain Ridge Country Club, 5. Baltusrol Upper, 4. Somerset Hills, 3. Baltusrol Lower, 2. And Bayonne Golf Club, number 1.
I would have bet the farm that Bayonne was your number one, and
Been
I don't
saying
even
it
own a
since
farm,
episode
so
3.
yeah.
We've been saying it since episode 3, and we're on number 120. Still haven't gotten out there.
uh, Mike, so can I give you? I kept going a little bit. Like I said, I went 11, 12, 13, and 14, and my number 12 course was Hackensack. We've had Nick Bova on. He absolutely loves it there. We've talked to some other people that absolutely love it there. So it was just off of my list. So to see it at 9 for you was, kind of similarity there. We both had due process right on the backside there. Mike, what is it about due process that makes you want to play it?
So I played due process maybe 20 years ago. That's when I had said 20 years ago, only because I played there one time. My grandfather, when he was alive, my dad, and my uncle, and the four of us went out there. And I don't know why. Maybe since Arcola, knowing how fast our greens are, but there never was a spot that I played faster greens on than at due process. On top of it, I kind of love the allure of
Lore,
that
yep.
place. It's kind of like a little like sneaky spot. It's kind of a lot of good things are there. It's the driveway is different. The
Yeah.
logo hits. There's a lot of different things about due process to me that always has stood out as a spot I'd love to get back to.
Like I 1,000% agree with that. For me, the want to play due process solely comes down to the the allure or the whatever the other word is that I'm looking for there. Like it's kind of a, I don't want to say hidden gem, but there's limited number of members. It is a single person owned club. It is the membership, the people that you hear rumors are that are members there. It's all the allure or the legend of the place. That's the reason I want to play it. On top of that, I know that they have, their fairways or their greens run right into the next tee box at a bunch of the holes. So I really like that. Uh, Montclair for me was number 10, Mike, and I do want to say I know that that's a Donald Ross course. I was looking it up. I've heard good things about it. I like that it's 36. It's got 4 9-hole setups to it, 4 9-hole courses. Um, to me, that's a very interesting or intriguing day. I'm probably going to not play well there, but that would be a place that I would really like to play. Again, just because it's got 4 9s, you kind of feel like you only got to pay attention for like a 2 hour stint, and then you can take a break. And then you got the back nine. It's kind of like you know, for me, it just that's the allure for me. It's not like we've had people talking a ton about it. It's not like we've had a lot of people um, pushing us to get there. The 4 9s and it being a Donald Ross course. Again, I said it. I said it in our interview this week with Keith. It's I don't play well at Donald Ross courses because you need to be good around the greens, and I'm not that good around the greens. But I can appreciate the awesomeness to which Donald Ross has created. Awesomeness being like how awesome the course is, but how great of a golf course architect he was. So that's kind of also the reason I would love to play a Ross course.
Yeah, I mean, to go back on your point on due process, I think you know the course being kind of secluded in its little setting, the layout being somewhat challenging, the facilities I think are unreal, and it just provides that like premium feel about this top-notch place that doesn't want to really be talked about a lot.
Mhm.
It's got that something special to it that you just can't really always put a finger on.
Right.
But I was surprised about your Montclair at number 10. Never saw that coming at all. A lot of them for you, we did have duplicates. I did see that. I was stunned with Scotland Run being so high. I was stunned. And I know that's a spot that you probably wish you had gotten to when it was
Mhm.
public,
Yeah.
but I was stunned that it was so high. And nonetheless, I loved how your 2 or your top 3 are south of the border for you.
Yeah, Scotland Run for me is a place that I don't want to say it has the allure like we just talked about with due process, but we've had some people on that talk so highly about it from the public standpoint. You absolutely love it there. I've been kicking myself that I didn't get there before it went private. So it's a place that's very high on my list because it's a place I wanted to get to as a public. So that was kind of the assignment that I gave the interlude to. This is kind of the same thing. It's high up on the list. I'm not saying it's going to be better than Somerset Hills or Mountain Ridge, which is my 4 and 5, or Bayonne, which is 6. I just have wanted to get to it, and for me, that's the idea.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, listen, I liked it.
and I would say the same. Something very similar with Atlantic City Country Club. That's one that we've talked a lot about in in golf, really, and it needed to get there for me is something that I like the history. I like the term birdie getting created there. You go back to like Atlantic City and the gangsters in the 1920. Like I love I love history, so I love all that kind of stuff. That gets my history tingles going. I just it's a place I've wanted to get to for a long, long time. Again, not saying it's better than Baltusrol or Somerset or Mountain Ridge, but it's one that I really want to get to and experience the views of Atlantic City, the old school locker room that's got Al Capone's name still on locker and things like that. I really want to experience.
Yeah.
So in
No,
that same
listen,
kind of vein.
yeah, I liked it. Yeah, listen, I listen. You're driving south of the border. I always like that. That's why I mentioned it.
uh, you got Bayonne number one. Obviously, that was going to be number one. We've been talking about that. You broke up upper and lower for Baltusrol. Lower is
Yeah,
the one.
honestly, I'll be dead
Yeah.
honest with you. I know nothing about them. I've never been on the grounds. It's funny because again, I took this assignment very seriously. I reached out to a few people about, hey, what do you think about this list? Do you like my list? Am I missing something on my list? Um, and I don't know anything about them besides the rankings and the pictures I see. So literally for me, when I was going through the list, like there is a very big discrepancy and difference between these two golf courses. So to me, it's like, all right, I'm gonna give them its fair due in terms of separating them. So I don't know anything about them. I just know I wanna play them. I'm sure I'll shoot 95, but I do just wanna go there. But I think the one for me that is like I probably could have put a little higher was Essex County.
Mhm,
And I there's with Essex County getting a complete, restoration of their golf course by Gil Hanse, it has sparked my interest
mhm,
big time. I've heard so many great stories about their back nine being probably the best 9 holes in the state of New Jersey, if not the best back nine. That place just has kind of like sparked my interest. And then you see these other ones. I had a gut feeling that Morris County may not have been on your list. So it was another spot that is an old golf club, found it way back in the late 1800s.
mhm,
So it's been around for quite some time. And then obviously Trump's course there at Bedminster, the old course, is another one that's constantly in the top 10, top 15. And I don't know if it's because it has his name on it or it's really that good. But again, nonetheless, sign me up to go experience it, boy.
yeah, I mean, we do have quite a list here, Mike, and yeah, I'm with you on Essex County. Like you said, you had it at 6. I had it at 8. Again, very intrigued with the restoration that it has. I'm I'm more like you with Essex, like I am with Baltusrol. I don't really know much about Essex other than Gil Hanse has the restoration, and that's kind of it. Like it's very intriguing for me to get up there. When we played Francis Byrne, we talked a little bit about it there. Got to see it through some trees, but other than that, I don't know anything about it. So
Yeah,
it is
I
on the
have
list for
one
that
course
reason.
I left off.
Okay.
There was one when I was mentioned to you in the pre-show. I had one course that I had 11, and as I kind of want to experience Trump's course out there in Phil. It's called Trump National in Philadelphia. It's really in Pine Valley, New Jersey. So, or excuse me, Pine Hill, New Jersey. It's the highest, most. So I forget what the thing is, but nonetheless, they say it has a Pine Valley esque feel.
Okay.
And to me, knowing how good Pine Valley is, I don't know. Listen. And I also want to preface this way because I've dealt with a lot of comments as you and I talked in the pre-show. How do you get on these places? You're never going to get on these places. They're private. Listen, I totally get it. This wish list that I'm deeming this, I'm
Hmm.
calling this, I've literally called this the 2025 private course wish
Wish list.
list. Now, yeah,
It's true
we may not get to
because we can't get
we
on
may not
there
get to any of them.
unless we get an invite or someone knows somebody, someone invites us
Right.
out. You and I aren't getting on here.
Right. So these courses, like, listen, it's a dream. If a phone call happens, if a DM occurs or a text message comes through my phone, like, that's a different story. But these are spots in terms of when I have to explain to the general audience, yeah, it's a wish list. The public, I can go pay my greens fees and go experience. But in terms of how do I get on, I don't have any other answer other than I got to get invited, just like the average Joe.
Yeah, and that's true. That's exactly what it is. So, Mike, I hope we can get to some of these. I hope for another great year. We have a bunch of places between our publics and our privates that we want to get to. Um, Golf courses, that is, and I think that that's a great. I think we got a great list, and anything that we get this year is, we've been very very fortunate and very very lucky to connect with a lot of great people uh, here in New Jersey, and I only hope that those doors can continue to open for us so we can continue to experience and then share those experiences with you guys that are listening.
Okay, so I have two questions for you, and these will be questions that we won't be able to answer until a year from now.
Okay.
Okay, so this is something that you need to bookmark somewhere in this Riverside platform of yours.
Okay.
You see your top 10. How many do you think you will play in the year 2025? Don't tell me the courses because I don't want you to reveal the who where you think you'll get on, but I want you to count how many you think you will play out of your top 10.
One, two. I'm going to say five. I think half. I think half we have a just knowing, and again, the listener is a little behind here, but knowing who we've talked to or already have, I don't want to say open invites, but people are like, hey, yeah, we'll talk in the spring. We'll get you out here. Knowing some of the moving parts that have happened, I think five is a legitimate shot for us to get to this year.
It's a good number.
Yeah. What about you?
I
When I look at your list, I have a number. You go with yours, and I'll tell you what I think yours is.
listen, I think a lot of things for you and I, it's very different. I think a lot of it is schedule based. I
Hmm.
do because we haven't been able to always go to spots when we've been invited because schedules just don't always work out. I'd like to think that we will play 8 of the 10 golf courses on my top 10 list.
I had seven. Seven was my number for us. Yeah, I think that's very doable. Again, same kind of thing. Knowing who we've talked to a little bit, who's moved around, who's assistants that have moved up to be assistants at other places, or people who have moved clubs this winter. I think for us that will make it easier.
And what about your public list? Do you think you'll I mean, obviously, we're dating ourselves last Tuesday,
Mhm.
but I forgot to ask it last week, and I put it in my phone, make sure I ask him this week. Do you think you'll get to all 10 of your publics?
So honestly, the only I do I do think that because that's easier to do. That's just, hey, I'm going to go play golf, and I obviously we'd like to do it together, right? That's kind of our thing. But there are times when we say, you know what, like I'm gonna go down and I'm gonna play golf, and it's gonna be with or without you. So I do think that there are a higher number of it together. I think we're gonna do one, two, three, four. I think we can get six of those together at the very least. There's is one, if I were to say by myself, I think I'm getting to nine. There's one from last week that's just it's a full day travel day from where I am to get to.
Mhm.
And I just think it's just a you're taking a day, you got to figure out, where you're staying, you're going to be driving late at night. So that for me that's one that I look at like,
Yeah, I think it's a great little assignment to say a year from now,
yeah.
here's the list that we had. How many did you think we were going to get done?
Yeah.
And how many did we actually get done? Now it'll be important that we come back to this conversation a year from now. But I just thought that was kind of
Yeah.
interesting to see what you kind of thought you'd get to.
What are your publics?
So
Do you
listen, again, I'd like to think I think the thing for someone like me, in order for me to play these publics, it would have to be 36 whole days. So I look at it like I need to separate 5 days where I can go play a course in the morning and a course in the afternoon that's in a relatively
like
similar
batch them? Yeah,
area.
they got to kind of come together.
That
Yep.
would be the easiest for me because it's hard for me to say I'm going to go play one place that's an hour and a half to 2 hour ride, then come home because now you're talking a full 8 hour day golfing and driving. That's a lot to ask for no offense for a guy like me. But if I could do 36 and know I'm doing a day's worth of work, then listen,
Hmm.
I'd like to think I can go 10 for 10.
Yeah. I also look at your list, Mike, and you can do that. Your 10 and
I
9, I
know.
believe, are pretty close together. But, I
Yep.
look at your list. You had Rockley and you had Week Wake, flipped orders, Week Wake and Rockley, and I believe they're both in that northeast part of New Jersey. So again, maybe I'm a little off on the map. Maybe there's an hour in between them, but I don't think there's many miles in between them. I think you're just talking about North
Yeah.
Jersey traffic there. But yeah, you
No
certainly
doubt.
could put some of those and kind of batch those together a little bit.
So we'll say, listen, I think it'd be a kind of an interesting thing when we look back from a year from now and say, how many did we get to and which ones did we not get to?
Hmm.
Um, just makes for great for some good topics.
Yeah, and we'll see what hopefully what needs to get on next year's list. So, all right, Mike, you got anything else for today?
Nope, not one thing. All I can hope is that at this point right now, TikTok is back and operable so I can get back to doom scrolling.
No, do it on Instagram. You'll be fine. All right, that's it for us today. Stay tuned for our interview on Thursday this week with Keith Stewart, co-founder of Read the Line. Again, great interview. He's such a good personality, really a good dude. He's upbeat, he's energetic. He's really doing something that I think everybody is interested in golf betting, and he's doing it at an amazing clip with an amazing process that I really don't think anybody else is doing. So he's got a great system going on here, and really is a very interesting um, point of view, I guess is the best way to put it. So stay tuned Thursday for our interview with Keith. Till then, cheers.